Hi, welcome back to Unit 3. This is Section 4, Lesson 1, and the first video for this lesson. This is Ms. Clemens-Brenton, and in this video we'll look at how to multiply mixed numbers. We can use a rectangle model to multiply mixed numbers, so very similar to what we were doing in Unit 2 when we were multiplying two-digit integers. So for example, if I have 2.5 times 1 1/3, I can take each of those mixed numbers and place them on each side of the rectangle. So 2.5 will go on this side, and 1 1/3 can go on the other side, and it really doesn't matter which side of the rectangle you place each mixed number on. So then you multiply the numbers on the sides of each square. So 2 times 1 gives me 2, 1 times 1/2 gives me 1/2, 2 times 1/3 gives me 2/3, and 1/3 times 1/2 gives me 1/6. So then we take each of those numbers and we add them together. So remember, when adding fractions, what you learned last year was that we have to find a common denominator when adding or subtracting. So for 1/2, 2/3, and 1/6, we have to find a common denominator. So in this case, our common denominator would be 6. So I rewrite those fractions, and I get 2 plus 3/6. 2/3 is 4/6, and 1/6 stays the same. When I add those fractions together, I get 2 plus 8/6. 8/6 can be rewritten as a mixed number, and it becomes 2 plus 1 2/6. So then I have 3 2/6, and 2/6 can be reduced to 3 1/3. So while the rectangle model works, it's a little more labor intensive than the following method. So if you recall how to change mixed numbers into improper fractions, we multiply the denominator by the whole number, so 5 times 1 is 5, and then we add the numerator. So in this case we add 3. So 5 plus 3 gives us 8, and we keep the denominator the same, which is 5 in this case. So if I give you the example 2.5 times 1 1/3, I could change each of those mixed numbers into improper fractions first. So 2 1/2 becomes 5/2, 1 1/3 becomes 4/3. So then I proceed and multiply my fractions as I would normally, so I can check to see if there's anything that can be reduced first. So when I look at 5 and 3, there's nothing that can be reduced there, but 2 and 4, I know that 2 goes into both of those numbers, so 2 goes into 2 once, and 2 fits into 4 twice. Now I multiply the numbers that are there, so 5 times 2 is 10, and 1 times 3 is 3. 10/3 cannot be reduced, but it can be changed to a mixed number. So 3 fits into 10 3 times, and then there's 1 left over. So 10/3 as a mixed number is 3 1/3. So example 1, find each product. So to complete these questions, you could use the rectangle model if you prefer, but for these questions, I'm just going to change them into improper fractions. So 1 3/4, 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 gives us 7/4, and 2 1/2, well 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 gives us 5/2. So 7/4 and 5/2, I look at the numbers diagonally and there's nothing that can be reduced, so I simply multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. 7 times 5 is 35, and 4 times 2 is 8. If I want to change 35/8 into a mixed number, 8 fits into 35 4 times, which is 32, which means there's 3 left over. So I have 4 and 3/8. Example B, 3.5 times 2 2/7. So 3.5 becomes 7/2, and 2 2/7 becomes 16/7. So then I look diagonally to see if anything can be reduced. 7 and 7, I know the 7 goes into both of those, so 7 fits into 7 once, and 7 fits into 7 once. And then 2 and 16, I know that 2 goes into each of those numbers, so 2 fits into 2 once, 2 fits into 16 8 times. So I multiply my new numbers. 1 times 8 is 8, and 1 times 1 is 1. 8/1 is the same as 8. Example C, 4 1/6 times 3 2/5. So 4 1/6 is an improper fraction. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. So that would be 25/6. Times 3 2/5. Well, 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 gives me 17. So that would be 17/5. So we have 25/6 times 17 over 5. So then I look diagonally to see if anything can be reduced. 25 and 5, I know that 5 fits into both of those numbers. So 5 fits into 25 5 times. 5 fits into itself once. When I look at 6 and 17, there's nothing that fits into both of those numbers. So then I multiply the numbers that are there. So 5 times 17 and 6 times 1 gives me 85 over 6. So then I can change that number into a mixed number. 6 fits into 85 14 times. There's 1 left over. So it's 14 and 1 over 6. Please complete the activities for this lesson.